The Chicago Bulls took a loss, another loss, in their fourth preseason game last night, this time versus the Denver Nuggets. But one thing that's been glaring for me is all these dang on turnovers that the Chicago Bulls continue to commit night in and night out, at least in the preseason. So, can the Chicago Bulls fix their turnover issues? We're going to talk about it along with some of the slow starts that continue to hurt the Chicago Bulls. Y'all know we're going to talk about it, break it all down, but you got to hear the music first.
Cognac, gang.
Shot Boys Podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down on another daily episode. So if you're tuned in, locked in, ready to talk Bulls basketball, with just about a week or so away from the regular season getting here, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Man, look, the Chicago Bulls, they went out there and they took another loss. So back-to-back losses in the preseason for the Chicago Bulls. We do understand that these games don't necessarily count, but this is kind of like that stage to where we can go out there and try to properly evaluate this team. Last night we got a good game out of Montes Buzelis, 20 points, 5 blocks, 3 rebounds and assists, and pretty damn good from the field and the 3-point line on the night. Then Josh Giddey with 29 minutes last night, 7 of 14 from the field, 3 of 7 from the 3-point line, and gave the Chicago Bulls 25 points, 6 assists, and 9 rebounds. Hopefully that's something that we'll be able to see throughout the regular season. Some notables. Hey, I'm not even going to lie to y'all. I have not been impressed with Isaac Okoro. I'm sorry. He has not been impressive. I thought him coming in for the Chicago Bulls, he was going to go out there and be, a force on the defensive end and be able to knock down the shots. He only played 10 minutes last night, and I feel like I didn't see anything out there that says he shouldn't play, like an injury that possibly came up. He just hasn't been good this preseason. Maybe that turns around during the regular season, but as of right now, through 4 games throughout the preseason, he has not been impressive in my evaluation. And another notable, we're going to pick at Nikola Vucevic. He looks old as hell and slow as hell on the defensive side. And I don't know if the Chicago Bulls want to entertain it, but I've been on a record to say, let Zach Collins start for the Chicago Bulls and allow them to have a better defensive game that they can bring to the table with the starter lineup, because Nikola Vucevic just can't get it done right now. At least that's what it looks like to me. So that's just some notables to take away from the game after a few games of seeing, a number of players doing their thing so far for the Chicago Bulls. And Javon Carter, I hope you get all the shots that you can get up, because he keeps shooting us. Yeah, it'd be fun and cool, and you see him knocking down shots, but you also want to see him get other guys involved. Not necessarily a bad game last night, but yeah, enjoy preseason while you can, is what I'm gonna say. But for these turnovers for the Chicago Bulls, man, they have plagued the Chicago Bulls this entire preseason, and I think that is kind of like, it's a couple passes to where you see Josh Giddey try to run the pick and roll with Nikola Vucevic, and then he do that little bounce pass through a small window. It's not always the greatest pass, but Nikola Vucevic doesn't have the bend or the athleticism to go out there and grab the ball that's kind of too low. And obviously, you don't want your point guard to distribute the ball in areas that are not feasible for a big man like Nikola Vucevic to grab. But as one of the parts of the reason. Then you see bonehead passes up on the sideline. One of them, Montes Buzelis, understands that was a huge mistake. And then you also see Jalen Smith come in and get some tick and just volleyball throws the damn ball into the third quarter. So it's a lot. It's not just one thing. I'll admit that it's a number of things when it comes to the turnovers for the Chicago Bulls. But if this team wants to go out there and surprise anybody, they got to get this shit nipped in the bud. Seriously. They seriously do. And on top of turnovers, we're talking about the slow starts for the Chicago Bulls that I'm going to talk about here in just a second. But for the turnovers so far in the preseason for the Chicago Bulls, these are the total of turnovers in each game this season. The first game versus the Cavs, 26. The second game versus the Cavs, 21. Then you got 10 turnovers versus the Bucks, and then last night 18 turnovers against the Nuggets. So not acceptable. I don't care how we dice it up. It's not going to say that guys, you know what I'm saying, blame other things. This is on us. This is on us. Guys have to simply be better, make smarter decisions, and take care of the damn basketball, especially for a young team that is hoping that they can come out there and surprise somebody. Because if not, you're going to get beat down. You're going to get beat down. Maybe it was just the Nuggets, or maybe it was just the Cavs, two teams that are pretty much going to be in the conversations for making the finals. But as of right now, as a team that wants to see growth, you got to learn how to cut that shit down. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all. It's very, very frustrating to see the Chicago Bulls do a bunch of bonehead stuff on offense to where you're creating extra possessions for the opposing team and you're simply just shooting yourself in the foot. It's not a good look. It does not help us win basketball games. And talk about that defense that has been played out there. Yeah, the defense has also been terrible for the Chicago Bulls. It seemed like nobody is really trying to lock in and go out there and defend. I know we talked about toughness. I give Isaac Okoro this. We've seen him try to draw multiple charge fouls. I give him that. But other than that, has not been very impressive. Not him or the entire Chicago Bulls defense. It has not been impressive at all. Yeah, they have made some strides. Yes, they have made some comebacks throughout this preseason. But the last two games, I think that's a clear vision of that these guys need to lock in and stop playing around. That's what it comes down to me. And another thing that I'm hoping that the Chicago Bulls can fix, man, is these slow starts in these games. Like, I understand that, hey, you might not be feeling the best. You might be sore. Who gives a fuck? As head coach Billy Donovan said, who cares? You know what I'm saying? Guys have to come out smart and play good basketball. Outside of one game versus the Cavaliers in the second game, to where the first quarter tied at 32-32, the Chicago Bulls have lost every single first quarter that they played this preseason. I know it's just preseason. I know it's just a small sample size, but that is not the first time we've heard this. We've seen this dating back to last season, to where the Chicago Bulls can't start off matching the energy of the opposing team, or rarely ever jumps out ahead and try to make things happen correctly. I think at one point between last night, with last night's game, the Chicago Bulls fell down to like 15-7, and that's kind of been the norm over this course of the preseason. Versus the Cavs in game one, they lost the first quarter 26-37. Again, in that second game, they tied their first quarter with 32 all. And then in the Milwaukee Bucks, you was down 6 with a 35-29 in that first quarter. And then versus Denver Nuggets yesterday, against one of the teams that's supposed to be in contention for a championship, you lost the first quarter 29-37. So I think that these slow starts, they need to actually come out firing and make some good, smart basketball plays. Now, I don't necessarily know if it's going to come down to we having to get Nikola Vucevic involved early. I know Stacey King alluded to that during the game or whatnot, but that shouldn't always have to be the case for you to start off on the right foot in basketball games. And I don't know what the plan will be for the Chicago Bulls in that final preseason for Thursday night, but if those starters are out there, you want to see something better from these guys. That's just what it comes down to, because you start this season off versus Detroit and then Orlando, and those are two young teams that are really going to be in the thick of things when it comes down to playoff positioning. And if you are the Chicago Bulls who want to insert yourself in those conversations or in that situation, you have to be better. You have to be better. That shit drives me crazy. I don't know about y'all, but watching bad basketball and watching a bunch of turnovers and just getting up and down the court and doing dumb things when you have opportunities in front of you, when you have matchup mix matches, uh, you can't make those type of mistakes, bro. That's just what it comes down to. And these guys, they are not the oldest guys in the league, but these are guys that have experience, and this was part of. And I'm echoing my front office. Hey, you got guys that's young but with experience. They know better at this point. These are not rookies. The only rookie out there was Noah Essengate. You know what I'm saying? So these guys have to be better, bro. They have to be better. And speaking of Noah Essengate, hey, he rocked the fro. Isaac Okoro rocked the fro. But for the guy that rocked the fro, that's a rookie. Look, it wasn't the best game for him. But he looked like he belongs. And I think that he could provide some type of assistance on the defensive side. I don't believe that the Chicago Bulls will try to fast track him into the rotation soon. But hey, if you're not getting production out of Isaac Okoro or Nikola Vucevic, to hell with him. Who cares about feelings? Who cares about feelings? Not me. We don't care about feelings over here. We trying to win basketball games. That's just what it comes down to. And I know that, you know what I'm saying, people going to say he only scored 2 points. Yeah, but when you watch him play, he understands where he needs to be. He helps other guys out. And you know what I'm saying? I'd rather watch him go out there and learn as a rookie than sit there and bank on 2 guys in Isaac Okoro and Nikola Vucevic looking like dumpster juice. Again, it is only preseason, so we can't just go out there. You know, we can evaluate what we've seen up until this point, but at the same time, once the regular season roll around, I need to see a difference. I need to see a difference from Isaac Okoro. I don't expect much coming out of Nikola Vucevic because we know who he is. We've seen it all these years with the Chicago Bulls, and I'm honestly on the hype train of putting Nikola Vucevic ass on the bench personally, but I know it's not gonna happen. I've been saying that the whole offseason. I know that he's here. I know that he's going to be here. He's going to be starting. And like I said, the last game when we thought that Zach Collins was going to get the start over Nikola Vucevic, and then at the start of the game, Nikola Vucevic came his ass trotting on the basketball court. I wanted to see what the defense looked like in that regard. I would have loved to see what a Zach Collins with the starting lineup looked like. I know we still missing Coby White or whatnot, but hey, you would have had Josh Giddey, Trey Jones, Zach Collins, Okoro, and Montes Buzelis. I would have liked to see that. I know it probably would have not been the craziest offensive output, but I imagine that the defense would have been a lot better than what we've seen these last 2 games from this starting 5. But hey, we shall see what happens, man. The next game is tomorrow, and we'll see. But yeah, Bobby getting grumpy with these Chicago Bulls and his badass defense because you're not going to do much. Yeah, we love the pace. Yeah, we like the offense. You know what I'm saying? And y'all can do certain things. And Josh Giddey has been hitting his 3-point shots contested and wide open. I want to see if Josh Giddey goes out there and hit some threes when guys go under the screen on him, make their ass pay. But you know what I'm saying? Josh Giddey has been all right. Other guys need to carry their weight. Isaac Okoro, you had a chip on your shoulder coming over here. The chip it ain't on the shoulder. Where the hell is it at? Because you ain't playing like a man that wants to go out there and show guys that they made the wrong decision by trading you to Chicago or you want revenge. You know what I'm saying? Again, it is preseason. Won't judge too harshly. I'm going to give him a little bit of time. I am. But at the same time, you haven't put anything on film that has said, okay, we getting what we traded for. Be better, bro. Nikola Vucevic, can't wait till you're gone, bro. Can't wait till you're gone. I'm so serious, like for real. But these turnovers and these slow starts, they need to improve, and we'll see. The regular season is right around the corner, and we'll see what happens. But that is it for me today, y'all. I appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode. Before y'all get up out of here, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell as well, man. We appreciate y'all. Make sure you always see red, and y'all already know we're going to catch y'all on the next one for sure.
Cognac.